Hello, hello. I hope you're doing okay today. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'm excited to get started here. And we're going to be building out this DevLinks full CRUD app. It's actually for my course. It's one of the modules I'm going to have, or at least a section of a module. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to break this up, but I figured I'm going to be coding this morning, so why not code it in public? So that's what we're going to be doing. I hope you're doing okay, and wherever you're watching from. You know, a lot of times because of the timing of these streams, I end up catching people in Europe and not usually in the US, so it's always really fun to figure out where people are watching from. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight in. We don't actually have a design. I just kind of quickly threw something together when I did that, so we don't actually have a design currently, and that's some of what we're going to be doing as well. But I'll probably mostly focus on functionality. But if you can let me know if you can hear me okay, and audio is okay as far as levels are concerned too, that would be awesome. UK, all right, awesome. Stone Hat, thanks for joining. All right, Bosnia, awesome. All right, let me go ahead and get stuff transitioned over. Hi, officially. If you've joined my streams before, you know that I do these things live. California, wow, extra early. Welcome, Christina. Okay, welcome. All right, this is the course I'm working on, this Learn Astro course, and right now I'm on this section, and I've got a lot of the basic stuff done, but the sample project is what I want to build out, and I was going to make it really small and tiny, but I'm like, hey, let's make it more advanced. Maybe not advanced, but do a little bit more with it. Hi, Kay, how you doing? So I did actually start working on this yesterday, which is not something I typically do ahead of time, but I only spent like 30 minutes, so I just decided, let me scratch that, and I'll jump straight in today, and we'll do it from scratch, because I hadn't done that much already. But usually I don't spend any time thinking ahead of time of these live streams, but I don't want to have to, I didn't want to have to jump in 30 minutes into a project, so it was early enough that I could just restart. All right, so back over this way, let's go ahead and create a new project. I'm going to use PNPM just because I typically do when I'm working on my machine, and then for the course I'll probably use NPM, but just because it saves space and that kind of stuff. So we'll do PNPM create Astro, and let's call this thing like dev links CRUD app or something. I should build it in right here. Hey, welcome. I'd love to know what you're working on too. If you all have projects going on these days, that would be cool. Start with an empty one. Yes, we'll write TypeScript. Strict is fine. Install dependencies. Go for it. Initialize new repository. Sure. Yeah, why not? I'm not really going to be committing stuff as we go, and I don't know if I'll throw the code up, but yeah. South Africa, Johannesburg, welcome. Colin Duba, I read your name is Colin Dude to start with, so I apologize. Welcome though. I should mention I do probably plan after I release this module to increase the price of my course slowly, kind of as I reach the final course price. So if you're interested in it, I would jump on it sooner than later. So just a note. All right, let me transition this over just so I don't remember exactly what I have on my machine here. So the way I'm going to set this up. So I'm just going to do that real fast and I'll be right back with you. All right. Just about got it set up, and then we'll jump in officially. Okay, cool. All right, let me move this back over. Here we are. Today, Prisma Astro newsletter and SEO. Awesome. I like that. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to be building this thing out for this 8th project, or 8 module, and it's this sample project at the end. And I want it to be like an app where you can save links as a dev. That's kind of the idea. So we're going to do a couple things. Like I mentioned, we're at early access right now, so it's still at $50, but I plan to raise that here pretty soon. So I'm going to actually come over here and split this because I want a couple things to happen. So I'd rather use Warp than the built-in terminal because we'll have a little bit more room. And this is what I typically do when I'm coding by myself anyhow. So some of this will change, and that's all right. But for right now, we're going to do PNPM Astro add, and then netlify React Tailwind Yell. Let's actually do all those. And then I want to add JSON server, because I'm going to build this thing out with JSON server as kind of the fake database. I don't know, I've tried to keep it real simple, and mostly the idea here is just to focus on the skill in Astro and not on the whole backend stuff. We'll have a project or two that does actually build something that you can use in production, but again, there's lots of stuff out there, and I plan to release a lot of stuff on my channel with like Firebase and Astro and all this kind of stuff. I don't want my course to be focused on a product that I have to then update every time they do anything, which will happen. It's already happened. And so I'd rather focus on like kind of core Astro concepts. And if you know enough about your database, all you have to do is change out the actual fetch to a database from the API route that we'll create. So that's kind of the plan. All right, so back over this way. I'm not sure why I've got so many. Oh, I never even CD'd into it. Okay, so let's come back over here. Let's go into my, which also means this is all wrong. Get out of here. Let's restart life. Let's go over here and go into the dev links CRUD app and do the same thing. Dev cd dev links CRUD app, and let's restart this whole thing. And I'm also going to restart this thing, and this is going to be awesome. Okay, now let me get this thing up and running, and I'll be back with you. Sorry. So back over this way, I'm going to reopen up everything, and I'll switch my screen back over. Okay, so it's here. Okay. False start. Okay, so here we are. This stuff's installing over here. I'm going to come over this way inside the CRUD app, and we're going to create a file called db.json. This will just be for, we'll call this like links. And right here is where we'll have our links. So this will be our little JSON server. If you haven't used it before, basically you can spin up a little fake server that acts as like a database too. And it's all just local. I started using Codium on my personal account. I'm not, let's see. Let me get rid of this here just so it stops yelling at me. I've been impressed with it. It's free. So it's like GitHub Copilot, but it's free. And it's really fast. So, and it does some cool stuff. I like the interface a lot more too. So I don't know if you're interested in something like that. I check it out. It seems to do a pretty good job. All right, over this way. Continue here. And yes, and yes, and yes. Okay, so it just updated all my configs and installed stuff for me. Then what I want to do is I'm just going to JSON server db.json. In fact, what I'll do is I don't like to remember these commands, so let's just come over here and we'll do like a server script. We'll paste that in, and then let me come back over here. JSON just server, get that spinning up. Let's also come to my Astro config. Trying to think if I want this whole thing. I think I'm probably going to make this hybrid instead. Once again, that's kind of my default so that everything is, well, I don't know, you're adding links live. Let's keep it a server. I'm not sure how I'll end up doing this in the long run, but that essentially means PNPM run dev. We can get that. Right now we'll just start with server-side rendered everywhere is the idea, and then we can always limit it if we want to later. Okay, so as you can see, we get a little resource link right here where this is our fake server endpoint. Right now, obviously there's nothing here, but if I were to add anything here, it would show up over this way. And that's what we'll be doing with our little endpoints. Okay, we've also got Tailwind on this project. So let me do just one customization to start with, which is the container class. I typically make this thing centered because that's kind of the reason I use it. And then we'll do padding 1.5 rem. So it's one of the few classes in Astro that doesn't, or in Tailwind that doesn't map one-to-one to a CSS property. Instead, it maps to kind of like several CSS properties. All right, let's come over this way. And what I want to start with is to get some kind of form so we can add stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new page called add.astro. And I also want to add a layouts folder just so we can have some consistent layouts. So we'll say base layout.astro. And then I'm going to come over here and grab this and drop it in here. Right here, we're going to have, right now we'll just have a basic nav tag that has an anchor link that points home. And then we'll have a main tag. And here is where we're going to have a slot. I'm not going to explain all this since I'm just building this stuff out live right now, but let's have a title. I'm going to have a meta with a name of description. And the content will be whatever description I pass in. I don't know that we're going to be super concerned about SEO for this since it's just a personal dev link site. It's kind of the idea. Let's take in a title and a description. And this will be from astro.props. All right, and then I will probably have, and I know I'm moving fast, but again, I'm just trying to build out something for my course, so I'm going to move fast if that's all right. We'll do like site links or something like that. .ts. Site data, I mean. Site data. Export const. Like base data or something like this. How about like meta data? Title will be dev links. And description will be, what do we want to call this? I don't know. Give me 160 character description for a site that is about saving links you find on the web. Easier to ask ChatGPT than have to think this early in the morning. Wow. Thanks for that. Super helpful. Let's just write it ourselves. Save links you find on the web for web development. Oh, was that hard, Chris? No. Okay, so we're going to pull in the site data here. Import base, what do we call it? Metadata. $10 says I have to reload the window. Come on. Hey, welcome. Nairobi, welcome. Or welcome from Nairobi, that is. Site data. Now, so what we're going to do is initialize these where we're going to set them to my metadata dot title. And that way, if I don't pass something in, it will use those. Otherwise, it will use whatever I pass in. Metadata dot description. All right, so eventually when we use this layout, which I'm going to do right now, I'll have our base layout and then close this off. I'll say like homepage. All right, and now it says dev links because I haven't passed in anything. If I want to, I can pass in a title that says like home and it will override that default. So for right now, I'm not going to do that on this page because we'll use that as our home page. And then I'm just going to copy all this and we'll do the same thing over here. And typically, I like to, in my JSON config, add a couple things here. Let's see, base, was it base something? Help me out. Base URL, be that. And then what I want is, oops, what's the other, what's that thing called? I think I actually have it on my clipboard somewhere. Paths, that's right. Then you can set this up as like a basic alias. So what I would do is, so I'm going to do like this, and then whatever comes after. And this will be the same as, so let me just find that on my clipboard because I just did this yesterday for some other project. Okay, so like this is going to be anything inside my SRC to start with. That way I can move stuff around if I need to and it won't throw everything off. So I'm just going to come in here. I'll change this out to layouts. And we'll do the same thing over here. And then we'll say add page. Okay. I guess also let's come to base layout. Forgive me just talking to myself right now, but again, I'm just building out this thing like I normally would. To add like this. So this will take me to add, this will take me home. Perfect. Now I probably want some kind of link component eventually. I don't want to get distracted with this stuff now though, so for now, since I'm using Tailwind, let's just do like text blue 500, something like that, underline, and call it a day. Okay, let's also come in here. What doesn't it like about this? Cannot find A? Really? Okay, well this one seems fine. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. I don't know. Let's not worry about it. All right, class. Let's go flex, justify between, And we'll do items center. There we go. And finally, let's put this all inside of a container. And we'll probably do the same thing here. So class container. Okay. Anything else I want to do? Let's throw a grid gap like 6 on here. We'll do the same thing here. Grid gap 6. If you haven't used Tailwind, you're basically just one for one choosing classes for the CSS properties, and there's a little bit of learning curve, but like mostly you're using padding and gap and just, you know, flex, and you know, it's not like I'm not typing every single CSS property in the book, so it's not too hard to learn once you get started. And I figured I need to do some kind of project probably with Astro or with Tailwind in my course, so that's kind of the idea here. Okay, so over here, let's not worry about this or this. Let's come over here to the add. And here I'm just going to have a simple form. So let's go to the add page. Piece layout. Let's add a little padding here too, actually. Let's do py4. Just to not override that container stuff. Okay, I think we're good there. We're going to have an input. Type of text, that's fine. I need a name so I can grab it off the form data. Let's think about the structure of what we want to. So I'm going to have a types folder where we have link dot. Yeah, that's fine. Links dot type dot ts. So I'll have a export type link. Yeah, let's links type, I guess. I don't know. This is going to have a title, which will be a string, an ID, which will be a string. What else do we want? Probably some kind of description, which will be a string. A URL, which would be a string. I probably should like validate this with Zod and a bunch of stuff. I don't want to make it too complex because then we kind of stop paying attention to Astro and start paying attention to all this other stuff, which eventually you need. But again, I want the course to be mostly about Astro. Title, description, URL. What else would I want? Like red or something. Maybe I have like an already red property. I could have a rating. This would be a number like 1 to 10. And this would be Boolean. Anyhow. All right. I think that sounds good. All right, so let's steal all this. And the IDs will be added by JSON server automatically. But this will act as a guiding light down here. And let's see. Let me go ahead and add. There's a Tailwind thing that will make our lives a little bit easier. Tailwind forms right here. Here we go. So let's come back over here. Let's kill this. And we're just going to pm add Tailwind forms. And then get this back up and running. And I do need to add it as a plugin here for Tailwind. So let's do that. And then we should be good to go. And it'll just add some styling to the form like there. See? So I don't have to do all that. Like it's that much, but again, I'm trying to focus mostly on Astro, so I don't want to spend a ton of time on CSS, especially since I'm writing Tailwind here. Look how white this picture is. What's going on? Okay, there we go. So let's say description. And should this be like a text area? Well, that seems kind of excessive. It doesn't like close off like that, right? Yeah. I think so. Okay. Let's see. This should probably be wrapped in like grid. That's fine. And then we're going to have a label. And this will point to my title, which this ID will be like title as well. The label should say something. How about like link title or something like that? So So let's do the same thing here. We're going to have a grid. For description, this will say like description for link, like what it is basically. And then can this have like a max length? Yeah. So we'll do like 160 characters, something like that. That way it's clear. This should also be required. And we'll make this required too. All right, I think that's good. Let's come up here and add a grid gap 4, something like that. All right, I got those things. Title string. Okay, so URL will be my next one. Let's go ahead and grab this since it will most likely reflect that more than anything else. Link URL. I also need this ID on here for description so that these two things are linked. All right, here we're going to change this title to URL. That's fine. Let's copy down again. Red, Boolean, and rating. Okay, so here, let's have these things in, inside of another one. That's a flex, gap 6, flex wrap. Say max width is fit on here. And this needs to be type of number. I'll have this say like rating or something like that, which to start with, I'm guessing would be, so this is something we need to think about because we're going to need a form for adding and a form for updating. So for right now, I'm just hard coding this here. It'll probably be its own component, but so should I show the rating to start with? I guess if you're like saving it and maybe I should show both all the time so you can check off whether you've read it and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. Let's see. I'm realizing I can't see any of the chat. Oh, okay. No one said anything. All right. Let's go ahead and leave it then like this. And we're going to call this rating. We'll add one more. Except this will be input type of checkbox. And let's see. We're going to call this red. Or how about is red? Just since it's a Boolean, that's typically what I would do. So we'll change that around too. Okay. And then, I mean, red already, red is red. We'll just leave it like that. Okay. And let's see, these things should, oh, I have to actually add flex on here. There we go. Okay, so is red, rating, these are our numbers. Let's set a max on this. So we'll say max is 5. And then you can set a min, right? On here as well? Yeah. Would be 1. 0 seems kind of harsh, right? Sure. Okay, so I can't do like -1 or it'll yell at me. Probably should add a bunch of validation if we want this form to be like intense, but again, I'm trying to kind of stay focused on Astro, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay, final thing is a button. Let's just say like add link or something like that. And for right now, let's add a few basic classes. Again, I'll probably come back to this eventually and like extract this out into its own component, maybe not sure. Let's do like blue 500 and text, blue 50, padding 2, max width of fit content. All right, let's change this a little bit, padding X6 maybe, and we'll call that good. Okay, so again, I want to keep the styling super basic for the site, especially since I'm hard coding all the CSS as we go, since we're using Tailwind. All right, so now we've got this thing hooked up. We need an endpoint to actually hit. So let's come back over here, and in my pages directory, we're gonna have an API folder, and in here we're gonna have a route. It's called like add link.astro.json.ts. So this is a dynamic endpoint. You can create these in Astro. I did pull this up ahead of time, but basically, since we're using SSR mode, we have access to things like get and post and delete and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to just drop this thing in here and grab this helper. And then what we want to do is hit our API endpoint. Now our API endpoint is right over here, this dev server. And the way it works is if you hit it with a post request, then you get back, well, then you can add to it. Yeah, so what I want first of all is to get my data. This will be for my request.body, maybe. So just like that, but you have to await it. Let's see. Async, like this. All right, so let's just see what's going on here. This will all be server side because everything in these routes are server side. And then let's come over here and let's write a basic script tag. Probably just leave this on the page. Let's grab the form itself. So we'll give this ID of like add form. And let's come down here. Const add form equals document.query selector. And we're going to grab the add form. And this will be HTML form element. Like that. Okay. So an add form, whenever we have an event listener where it submits, then I want to grab the event. And first of all, prevent the default so it doesn't refresh and try to submit to that page. Secondly, we should probably have a try catch here. And we'll just console.error the E for now. This try. What are we going to do with this try? I also installed React. I guess we could use React somewhere. Not sure where I'd want it. Maybe we can have like a filter system. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't use React. Keep this real simple. There's not like a ton for React to do here. Honestly, it's just like submitting a form. So I hate to use React just to use it, but I don't know. Okay. First of all, let's go ahead and await. So this needs to be an async function. Fetch. We're going to fetch our endpoint. Nope, not that endpoint. Our custom endpoint, which would be API add link.json. And this needs to be the method of post, which means a couple things. We're going to have headers where we have the, what is that called? I never remember. Application JSON. Here we go. And then we also need to send along the body, obviously. So this is just going to be json.stringify. And what I need to do is grab all the form data first of all. So for right now, we'll just say like nothing there. So just so we can see kind of what happens. Let's grab, we'll call it form data. And this will be from new form data. The new form data API, we'll just pass the entire form here, which is the add form. And this should happen down here inside the submit. Then we should have all those things as objects. Let's see. Like in an object, we can pass it along. So we can do that by doing object.fromEntries. And we'll just pass in the form data. But just so you can see what this is, let's go ahead and return here at console log of object.fromEntries, and we'll pass in the form data. So what this will do is take every single item that we, which I don't need to require this, every single item that we interact with here, and it will, I probably should not make this required either, huh? It will submit it, right now just console log it, but it will grab all those things with names, name attributes, and add them into an object, essentially. So we'll say like, cool, link, other stuff, and one, and it's red, that's fine. Actually, let's not do these just because I think we're gonna need to add to the object. So you see down here, that's exactly what we get. We get title, description, other stuff, and rating is nothing. So for right now, what we should do, so the rating, do I want to show that right to start with? We could have it be null or that. Maybe that's what we should do. So let's come to my link right over here. Boolean, we decided to call this is red anyhow. This rating, we could do a number or undefined. guess it's going to set it as an empty string though, huh? I'll do number or null. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's come back over here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to check this form data before we submit it. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll say form data dot, what do I want? Let's grab all these things as values first of all. So let's go ahead and just call it values equals object dot from entries form data. I want to code with you, brother. Oh, I thought you said I want to see you, brother. I'm like, what's up? I'm right here. We're coding right now, man. Let's come over here to values dot. How do we want to do this? Yeah, let's do if values dot. What do we have? Rating equals this. Then I just want the values dot rating to be updated to be equal to null. Null is not assignable. Get out of here. Undefined. Undefined is not okay. Why can't I assign it to that? Form data entry value. I thought I could assign it to that. Could I just do it? Well, I guess it'll just be an empty string. So maybe we'll handle that. I guess we'll handle this server side then. I mean, typically you should also, for all these values, run them all through like a some kind of sanitization process. So we should probably also do that. Yeah, so let's to do sanitize. So I guess that's going to be just that, and that's fine. We'll say if values dot is red, and all I want to do is say if there is no values dot is red, then I want to add values dot is red to be equal to false. Why is this object dot from entries form data? This should just be an object, right? That's what I already got. I'm not sure. So maybe let's do this both these things on the server. So if they don't get sent, that's fine. What happens if I just mark this as required for both of these? And I don't use them. Okay, so it's forcing me to. Okay. Please check this box if you want to proceed. Man, hostage taking. Okay, let's not worry about that. Okay, let's take these values and let's send them on here. Here. Why isn't this thing like me? Object dot from entries. Oh, I can't object dot from entries twice. So I guess, yeah, let's just get rid of this. We're gonna eventually sanitize it, so okay, values. All right, so what we're getting now is we're going to pass all this on to over here, and we're going to console log this. Let's actually see if this works. Something, and let's add it. Okay, here we go. So we're actually getting data that is nothing. Locked, readable stream, something. Request dot, what was it, JSON? Is that it? Maybe? Okay. Let's hope that's it. Okay, there we go. So now I'm getting that stuff. So it's request.json, and you can see I'm getting all the stuff I passed along with that post request. Obviously, I don't have a rating here. Yeah, and I don't have, what was the other thing I needed? I don't remember. Is red. Either way, though, now I've got my data, and I could say, if data dot is what I want, I can type this as a link. Seems a little weird to call it links, but anyhow, if data dot is red, then data dot is red should be equal to false. And then same thing here. We'll do if data dot rating equals an empty string. So I guess we should do that. It can be a string too. I just don't want to. So maybe we shouldn't type this quite yet. So we'll wait and we'll just kind of know what it's supposed to be. And then we'll leave this as it could be null or undefined. I don't know. Let's leave it at null for now. And then we'll type it afterwards when we pass it in, I think. Maybe. Perhaps. It could happen. All right, so if data.rating equals that, yeah, then we'll do data.rating is null. Sure. Okay, so now what we can do is hit our endpoint, right? So we're going to do the same kind of thing where we now do a try catch over here as well. Same kind of thing with the checkbox. Yeah. I think maybe there's like a default value you can add to it. Maybe that's what I should do. Just trying to remember, just trying to think like what would be the easiest thing. Default? No. That's just for text boxes. I don't know. Let's not worry about it. Okay, so we're going to do try catch. We'll have the error here. Console.error. This will be server side, the error. And then we'll also return a new response. That where we'll JSON stringify a message that is the e.message. See, this thing doesn't know what it is, so let's just console log the e and call it a day. So that should be good. Let's come up here then, and we're gonna await a fetch to our API endpoint, which was localhost links. There we go. Now this needs to be a post request, so we're posting to our own endpoint, which will then post to the actual database. So this is all server side. So the idea is if you have like a special key you have to pass on or something, you can do all this safely over this way. So anyhow, let's copy a lot of the same logic over here, like this. And we're going to put this on here. And in this case, this will be my data that I pass on. And I think that's good. We should get back something. I don't remember what it is though, so let's call it like something. DB response, I don't know, is res.json. Okay, so over this way, this should actually update once we submit something. So let's come in here, and then let's do add link, and something should have happened. And if I refresh, there it is. So looks like we need to trim some of this stuff. So that might be something to do. Anything else? I don't know. I don't think so. So maybe we should do like for, how do we do? I always forget how to do these basic loops just because I don't use them a lot. For in loop. JavaScript. Oh yeah, that's right. You know, like there's some things you remember immediately without ever looking them up, and other things you can't remember no matter what you do. I don't know. That's how this is. Cannot find item. Dude, I got you. Okay, so this is for each item in one of these. Okay, cool. What we want to do is just item.trim like this, and then we'll also probably sanitize. Oops, sanitize server side here as well, just because of life and things. And then we'll do if, yeah, that should be good. I guess let's pop this up here and let's resubmit this and see how this works. Okay. Oh no. Okay, I thought it crashed on me. Oh, we're gonna have so many spaces after this. All right. Let's see what happened. Nothing. Cool. What did I mess up? Can't you like loop through all these? And then it just, like it updates it, right? Or something? I thought you could do all that inside here. Right? And I thought it just, like this is, mutates the data. Doesn't it mutate it? Let's check. Name, iteration, mutate, mutation. Does for in loop and JavaScript mutate data. Oops. I'm searching on my computer for that. Probably not going to be helpful. No, it doesn't. Well, then why would I even use it in this case? Because that's what I want to do. I guess I could just grab each of them. Maybe I should do this over here. Probably want to do it here too. I don't know. Let's not worry about it right now. If you have a good idea, let me know. Let's see what this response is though, because that's what I wanted to check on and I never did. Let's send this here. Okay, so I get back. Promise. Because I gotta wait this. Do it again. Okay. So we're getting back the whole thing. Okay, so basically, if it has an ID. What happens if I posted something that doesn't exist, like link? So this will throw my error. Right? So I just get nothing. Okay, so if I get something back, basically we're good. So I can just check the ID property maybe. So let's say if res.ok, then we'll throw a new error. There was a problem, whatever. So we know what it is. Okay. So that should be caught down here. Otherwise, what we're going to do is say if db.dbres.id, so if that exists, then we're going to just return a new response where we have json.stringify, and we'll have a message that says success or something. Actually, let's not. Let's just say like, well, that's fine. But what I also want is a success property, and we'll set this to true. And then down here, we'll have a success, and we'll set this to false. And if you want to, I guess you could also have status. Am I doing this right? Inside here, status. Here we'll do 404, whatever the problem happens to be. And here we'll do a status of 200. Although I will probably just check off this success instead. Okay, so we're getting back something, then we're good. Otherwise, let's just throw a new error again. And response or something like that. And we'll call this connection. That way I can distinguish them if we happen to have problems. All right, so we should get back something, which we'll get back over here, right? So from this res, and we know we should have at least a success property here. So let's just go ahead and get that, and this will be await res.json. So we just sent that from the server. Now we should be able to get this on the client side. So what we're going to say is if success, then let's do some kind of like toast notification. Otherwise, we'll throw a new error. And this will be, let's grab the message here too. Message, and this will just be the message. Okay, so I think that should work. Hey, welcome. All right, so we've got a link, title thing, other thing. Let's hit this. Something should happen. Oh, we never did anything. So let's console log right now. console.log the message we get back, which should just be the full object. Boom, boom, boom. Success. Oh wait, the message is success. That's right, because I decided not to pass it along. And success equals true. So, okay, so everything is working, which means if I come over here, we're gonna have a bunch of nasty stuff. Awesome. So, did the first thing. Let's create a little toast function later. To do toast. All right, so I've got a couple to-dos in this project. That's all right. So at least we got this whole API endpoint set up. Now, when we get home, here's where we want to fetch all this stuff. And once again, I want to create an API endpoint. We're just going to call this getlinks.json.ts. And we could just have a single endpoint that has different methods, but just to kind of keep it clean. Let's see. Do I have one of these on my... Yeah, there we go. Let's pull this thing in. Now, this is server side. So we could do a couple things. Like, for instance, we could pass in a specific ID just to get a single link. Because if I come over here and I do like 1 or 2, it'll just give me that single one. So maybe what we should do is have this be dynamic. Or we could pass it in instead of with a param. We'll use the param for putting and deleting. So here, let's actually grab... Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because this is server side, we can actually grab the URL that's been sent here. So let's do that. Hey, awesome, Christopher. Thanks. Great name, too. Glad you've enjoyed the course. So we're going to do, if there is an ID, so we'll pass in an ID. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to call this URL. We'll do a new URL. And this will be from the request.url. All right, and then over here we've got an ID that we're going to pull off of the URL dot search params. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if I hit this endpoint, which is getlinks.json, and we happen to have an ID of like 1 on here, nothing happens. Okay, getlinks.json.ts. What's the matter with this thing? Oh. API. Okay, there we go. Undefined. How dare you? I thought I could just pick this property off. Oh, you know what? I bet it's like you have to do get ID. Yeah, that's right, because it's a map. Let's try this again. Sorry for defaming you. Look at that. Okay, so now we have an ID. Whereas if we don't pass one in, this should be undefined or null. Yeah, okay, so we can run a little check off this, where basically what we're going to do is say, like, if we have an ID, then grab a single resource. Otherwise, grab them all. And then we'll just return those. Okay, so we're going to say if an ID, then I know I can grab just that single resource. So we're going to do a try catch here. Let's just do the same thing we did over here. Try catch. Look at all this mess. Let's see what happens if I just drop this in here. Okay. So we're going to wait. This needs to be in a sync function. Here we're not doing a post, we're doing a get. And what we can do is pass in the ID here as the extra param or whatever. We don't need body. Oops. Come on. If that's okay, we should get back something. Success equals true. That should be all right. I should probably write a function that like does all the try catching itself, so I don't have to keep repeating this. But or I could just keep copying it endlessly. Let's do that. So that should be good for a single one. I mean, maybe instead of doing all this stuff, let's just do a single try catch. And then inside here, well, what don't you like about that? Okay. Inside here, we could just do like, if ID exists, then ID, otherwise, maybe just do this. How's that work? That might be a little cleaner. So we've got a single return thing, right? And then this is our catch. Let's see. All right, so what we can do now is we're hitting our endpoint that will then go out and fetch the stuff from the database. That's kind of the idea. So this could be server side. So like for instance, if you had like a authorization or you had like a bearer token or something. So let's say you had like bearer and then you had some kind of env variable. You could do all this server side without any trouble, basically, because it's all going to be protected. Do you use Prisma? When you use Prisma? I've used Prisma before, but honestly, like since I'm mostly front end, I don't do a ton of back end stuff, and so like the stack I use mostly has been like Firebase or Supabase. So I don't think I've actually ever done anything on Firebase or Supabase on the channel. So one of these days, I'll do. It's just not something you can like quickly jump into. I don't know, without like explaining everything, and I don't know. So I'm gonna do probably an Astro and Firebase like big project on my channel after the course is done. That will be just for fun. Well, not for fun, but for free is kind of the idea. So we'll see. But right now it's all channel or all coursework, not channel, course. Okay, so over here what we're going to do is now we're going to hit this all from my index route. So let's come over here. Oh, you know what? I'm returning success, which as far as messages go, success is true is fine. This probably needs to be whatever my db.res is, because the whole point is to return stuff. Okay, so there we go. So that's if I do one. If I do them all, like this, I get nothing. What if I do this? Oops. Because I don't need to do all that, right? No, I do. Can I not do it like this? I think so. I think it's the formatting's just off. I thought I could like optionally add this in. Because it'll just get nothing back. Okay, scratch this idea. It was a great idea though. So here we're just gonna have the ID here. Otherwise, we're gonna just do a try catch down below. So let's say if ID, then we do all this. And if there's not an ID, then we do all this. Same thing, except, I don't know, I'm sure there's a better way to do that. So now, if I come here, what? I should get this, right? This is the same thing. Get links, API JSON not found. Oh, maybe I'm just get links.json. What is going on? I mean, it's obviously finding it because it's hitting it. Like even when I come over here, I actually get a console log. This is weird. What am I messing up? You see anything? Astro DB releases next week. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Astro Quick. I don't know if it's faster than vanilla JavaScript. It probably depends on how complex your app is. For like something like this, I don't know that you're going to beat vanilla JavaScript for like a simple form submission. But yeah, if you're building like an app, then yeah. Or something that's got a lot of interactivity, for sure. I haven't actually learned Quick yet. It's on my list at some point. Okay, I'm not totally sure what's going on here. This should be everything I get back from here. If you see something I'm doing wrong, let me know. So I guess this could be a string on or not. No, what are we getting back right here? Right? So if I hit this, I get back null. So this should not fire in here. Yeah. So this should fire down here. Yeah. Which means I should be getting back this right here. Yeah, I'm getting all those promises, so it should be here. Six items. What am I messing up? Oh, you know what? But if I add an ID 1 to this, I'm actually getting all that. Why is this not letting me? What am I doing? It's an array, right? But I can just assign that there. Why is this not returning this down this way? Let's just get the whole DB res. What is going on? Let's come back here. API get links.json. That was number 1. It's not updating live. Did I kill my server? It's console logging all this over here. What is going on? I don't know what I'm doing. It happens. Yeah, but Astro DB is pretty cool. It will see the light of day on my channel and in the course. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, you know what? I'm checking it. Okay. I'm doing all this inside of an if loop where it should just get me back if I get back anything, basically. So this would just be if db.length is greater than 0. Well, if I already know the connection's okay, I should get back something if it has a length at all. Okay. Well, that was a dumb error. It happens. Okay, so over this way, now what we want to do is fetch all this, right? So let's do const res equals 08 fetch, and we're going to use our custom endpoint. Now, because this is server side up here, I have to actually provide astro dot, let's do url.origin, and then we'll do /API / get links .json. Okay. And we'll make these backticks. Okay, so then I should get back this as a response. So we'll say data equals 08 res.json. And then down here, what we're going to do is, for now, we're just going to take our data and .map over it. For each item, we're just going to take the item dot. Let's type this as a link. Where's my link? This should be .title either way. Maybe these should be LIs, actually. And then, oh, this can be UL. Come on. Links. Okay, so let's come back over here. Like this. Data.map. Oh yeah, what I need is I don't know why I always call that thing a response when it's a request, but I don't know, I always do that. So what I need is the message, which seems kind of weird. Let's grab the data off of the res, which if we're going to do that, let's just do it right here. And let's come back over here to get links. And for this message, we're going to call this data. And we'll do the same thing here. Data. All right, there we go. So we got all of our titles coming in. If I can do this properly. And then this data here. be a type of link. Is that not how you do this? I don't think. So we'll just call this links here. Okay, there we go. So those are all my amazing titles. All right, so now we're getting this stuff in. That's good. We'll create a card for this later. We can add new stuff here. So if I come over here, let's do like new link just to make sure this is clear. Sure is red. Now it already shows. Okay, cool. So now what I want to do is create some dynamic pages here. So we'll call this like links or link. How about that? And then we'll just have an ID. Oops. We'll have an ID dot something Astro. This is server side, so the nice thing here is I can just pick off that param. So we can say ID is equal params to ID. Oops. Astro.params. And I can pick this off as an item, console.log ID. So if I came over here and we have link.1, then it says 1, right? So that tells us what we can fetch at that point. Now, we can do a lot of the same thing we just did here, except instead of just having a single, or getting all of them, we can pass in this single one, which means I can come in here and get the ID and then pass the data down. So let's go ahead and do that. Data from that should all be the same. Yeah, so let's pull this one in. Or instead of waiting, let's just do this here. Okay, so this should all work. Cannot find module, deal with it, you're gonna be just fine. All right, so let's come inside here and let's go back. Link 1. All right, let's see what we're getting back here. Get links. That should all work. So we are actually getting that back. Get links.json /ID. Whatever the ID is we have to be passing in, right? Let's check here, make sure we're actually getting something. We are. Get links API.json. Oh, you know what? I did it as a query param. That's right. So we'll do ID equals ID. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting this stuff back. What we can say though is if rec.okay, if that's not okay, then we want to do astro.redirect. And we're just going to redirect to the home page. We'll do the same thing here. So if data, there's no data, then we can use the astro.redirect. And again, we'll just forward to the home page. All right, that means if I come down here, I should be able to comment this out, and we should actually get just the single one back. I guess this would just be a single object though, huh? So what we could do is just have this as data.title, I think. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think that works. And here, I guess this would be a link, right? Oh no, I can't do that like that. I forgot to do this in TypeScript. I don't know. This is the problem when you kind of have to know TypeScript and kind of half don't. Either way, when I now come to any of these, if they exist, that works. If I go to one that doesn't exist, it should just take me back to the home page. So what I need to do is do the same thing here. So if no idea, get out of here. Astro.redirect to the home page. Right? Cannot read property of title. Well, if there's no ID, shouldn't it be able to redirect? Oh, you know what? That doesn't work. Here, what am I getting back? Console.log the request. status 404. Okay, so the other thing I can do is if the rec.status is 404, or how about this, does not equal 200, then I can also redirect. No? Is that not going to work? I guess I'd have to pick that off down here, right? So maybe let's do this. Let's get this back as data. And then what we're going to say is if data, what does this give me? So I should have message success false. Okay. So I could say if data dot success, then it redirects. All right. So if I come over here to link like 122, right? Data.success equals false, then I should redirect. Let's try it in here. Console.log stuff. So this should be firing. It should redirect me to the home page. I mean, it's like literally firing right here. What happens down here? Is it firing again? Awesome. Maybe I'm forgetting how redirects work. Redirect. Oh, this is all server side. Oh, I guess I could just redirect here though, huh? I guess I could do that. Yeah, maybe I should do that. So during this fetch phase, although I don't know why this isn't working. So let's just, I guess, regrab this for now. And let's get over my get links.json. Is this really what I want to do, though? No, I don't. I want to figure out why this thing isn't working. Let's see. Check the data. Here. It's undefined. And that's false. See, that should give me, that should fire down here too. Astro redirect. Add return before the, oh. Thanks. This should be returning. This should be returning. Okay. Yes, that is the issue. Okay, so in this case, if I come over here, thank you. Not firing on all cylinders this morning. Let's do link 122. It takes me back here. Okay, that's all we want. Thank you. It happens. Okay, so then let's come back to the home page just to have some little links here. And what we're going to do is class, we'll do like a grid gap 1 or something like that. And then inside here, we're going to have a paragraph with the title. And then let's have a link that I'll say like C link or something like that. And here we'll have an href. And this will point to, what am I pointing to? Link. And then whatever the i.id happens to be. That's right. There we go. I can click in here and it takes me to the link. Okay, so these are the only ones that work. If I go to one that doesn't exist, it returns. Okay. Wow, that was a really not smart way to do that. Okay, I think we should be good there. We'll do underline, text 500, blue 500. All right, there we go. So now we can see the link. Okay, so we got all those. Next thing I want to do is when you're looking at the link, I want to add 2 options. So let's come over to the ID. And here, I guess we can do other stuff like description. What else do I have on here? Can I do this as an as links? I think I can. So yeah. So now I can just data dot. No, it's not what I want. I just forget how to do this in TypeScript off the top of my head. Like when you're destructuring, sometimes like my brain just short circuits on stuff like that. So I don't know. Anyhow, it's not a big deal. Like I guess we could say like view link or something. Because at this point, what we've got is the actual the link itself, right? Whatever that happens to be. So this is just data.url, I think. All right, so this should take me to the URL of whatever that happens to be. Most of these are just bogus, right? So it's like URL is this, so that's not going to take me anywhere. But yeah, the idea is you'd have actual links in here. Okay, so now that we've got all that, I want 2 buttons up top here. So let's do flex, gap, 2, whatever, that's fine. We're going to have a button here, and this will be like delete link. And we'll have another one, this will be edit link. Look at that. Okay. So just so these aren't so ugly that I can't look at them, let's do background blue 200, 400, I don't know. This one probably needs to be red. This can be green. Excellent. Text white. PY2, PX4, 6, something. Excellent. Let's teal this thing and make it a little darker. I don't know. Something like that. I thought I did that and it wasn't working. Like this, data links. But it yelled at me. But it's not now, so. And it's still not working. Maybe that's just a reloading of VS Code though. Sometimes that happens. That's all working. Okay. Title dot. Okay, so it is working. I don't know. Maybe it was just the extension, like VS Code wasn't working. Because this is what the very first thing I did. All right, so now we've got 2. And what I want here is basically to hit an endpoint and then redirect from the server back to the home page. So with this edit link, we're going to actually hit a real link where we're going to take the ID here. And I guess we're going to have a nested. Let's do it like this, perhaps. Let's take an edit, and then we're going to have a similar thing inside here. So then what we'll do is over this way, I guess this is going to be a link, and this will point me to href. So I guess we could just do edit like this. Maybe let's do that. How do I want to do this? Link edit. Oops. No. Let's go link, edit, and then the ID, which will be data.id. Okay, let's get out of here. So let's do that. So here and here, I got about 30 minutes or so. So this should take me to like this. Let's go back. Yeah, let's do that. Then we can basically have the same situation in this pages directory. Okay. So edit will just take me to edit, which will eventually be a form. Okay, so that'll be the first thing. The delete, I think, will be a little easier, so let's start there. So we'll edit the links and delete the links. So with this delete, let's see, how do I want to make this work? This could be like a little micro form that submits to a route. Maybe we should do that. So this could be a form, which will automatically submit. And we should be able to submit this to API, like delete link.json, right? So if I click this, it should take me here, which doesn't exist yet, but don't you worry. So let's do that. We'll just make a little form. Let's So I guess we should technically add this as a type submit. I don't know that this really matters though, because it's already that by default. So let's go into here. We'll do like delete link.json.ts. And let's do post. Find that in here. No. I just want to not have to type all this out. Except in this case, we've got a delete. So all we have to do is pass along the ID here for delete. So like JSON server. Astro do dynamic folders. Yeah, you can do dynamic folders. Maybe that's a better idea. Because you could do nested dynamic. All right, if I remember that, I'll go back to that. This is the nice thing about doing this live is you get all my thought process, and it's the bad thing about doing it live is you get all my thought process. All right, so you just have to go to the ID, and okay, so that's easy enough. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So you just hit the ID with a delete request, and it deletes it. So easy. So what we're going to do is we'll have this param, the actual parameter of the file. So we're going to have a dynamic link here. Let's see, like this. I think this will work. I thought I could do something. Okay, so delete link. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it just refactored it. All right. So now what I can do is const get the ID from the params.id. So if I hit this with the delete request, I should get this back. All right. So let's come back. Oops. To here. Delete link.json. Okay. So I have to change this up slightly. So let's come back over here. Delete link, and then in here we're going to have the ID, right? Data.id. So I might as well use like Java, or like browser APIs instead of making our own thing. So this should hit this. Oh, but can I hit this? I have to just change the method here to delete. Can I do this? Right? Because right now it's doing a GET request. No website. API link 4. I thought that's what I had over here though. Delete link /4.json. Right? Isn't that what it should be hitting? API delete link JSON. This should work. It should hit this API delete link, and then I got /4 or whatever it happens to be. Let's just try to see if it actually. So if we fetch here over this way, and then let's just add in the ID. So if I hit this, it's just not going to return anything. So I should be able to grab though a redirect, and once it's done that, I should be able to redirect, right? Redirect to the home, and then I don't remember what is the code for a redirect. No. 301. Not a redirect for a delete. Success. 200, 204. No content. Okay, let's just do 200 then. Does this need to be a string? Status. Do I need to do anything? All right, let's try that. I hit this. No? It's still doing a delete request. Okay, so maybe you can't do this straight from a form. Or I thought you could. Just throw a method of delete. I guess I'm doing a GET request there. Even so. Still not working. Okay. That's fine. So what should we do? Let's take this. I guess we won't have this be a form. Let's have this be a button. And we'll give this the idea of like delete or something like that. All right, and let's see, what do I want to do here? I guess we could pass down. Yeah, so let's have a script tag. Or we're going to grab our delete button. Document.query selector. I'll grab delete. If I can spell, delete. Like that. So that should give us our as HTML button element. And then we're just going to run delete button whenever it's clicked. Then let's just go ahead and fetch our endpoint, which is API dot or / delete link / whatever the ID happens to be. Now, in order to get this ID down into the script tag, let's see, how do I want to do this? I guess we could just like define vars, right? So I can have an ID, which is my data.id. I think that should work. Now I can't use TypeScript down here, which is fine. But here I can now have an ID be passed in. So I think this should work. Okay. And I need to make sure that this is method. A method inside here of delete. Yeah, I could also do a data attribute, but in Astro you can just pass down variables directly to the script. So from the front matter, so that's what I'm gonna do. Hey, welcome, Jan. All right, so let's click this. Something happened. Not. It tried to hit that. Why is this thing not hitting properly? What am I messing up here? Like, this dynamic endpoint should work. Let's come back over here. I'm sure I'm doing something dumb because it's happened several times today already. I got about like 15 minutes. I was hoping to get all the functionality done. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Params ID. Like, right? This is what we got. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. All right, so what we're gonna do is API delete link id.json .ts. This is delete method, which does work. Like, I'm grabbing it right here. Inside here, when I delete, it should be able to hit this link. And I mean, this method needs to be delete. I just don't understand why this isn't working. Delete link /4 should be this ID that I'm passing on. This ID I should get right here with the delete request. What am I doing here? Let's do a GET request and see what happens. If I come over here and we do API.delete link /4. So it's not found. But let's see if it deleted it. No. Man, what is going on? Is it console logging in here at all? I don't understand why this isn't working. API delete link, and then it has this ID here. I don't know. So let's do this. Let's just have a standard one right here. I'm going to change this back to delete, and we'll just use this for both the post and the put. So that if you hit a single one like this as a delete route, maybe it's just that nested stuff that's not working. I don't know. Let's try this. We're fetching to our API and to our delete. Delete API 4, not working. I don't understand why this isn't working. Let's change this to get again, and let's come back here and change this to get and see if we're getting something in here. Okay. Still nothing. Man, what am I doing wrong? Okay, so it is actually logging over here. Man, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Get Prim's ID. Well, I'm kind of stuck. What if this is just id.ts? I mean, that's not what they did over here, but you don't have to have the type. Why? Why did that work? If I come over here and refresh, it's gone. Okay. Why is that a thing that happened exactly? I don't understand that. Let's come over here, delete. Let's change this back to delete. That is why it wasn't working. Man, you're getting the real deal this morning. Okay, so now we can hit this individual, my goodness. So I need to just have it be to the JSON, which means I should probably, let's come back up here and let's erase these 20 minutes worth of work and let's see if this actually works. We're coming to my, whatever the ID happens to be. And then I don't even have to write all the JavaScript at the bottom of the page where we have our data.id.json. And then our method is delete. Did you do it lowercase, I think, like this for these? Let's get rid of all this. Let's just see what happens. First link, delete it. JSON. So maybe you can't actually do, because it looks like it's a GET request. Let's see. Can you do a delete method from a form action? From a form. Oh no. Okay, so you can't. Okay. Well, I'm not sure I understood what I was asking for actually, but anyhow, let's get rid of this and this. Let's come back down here. Either way, now I can delete this link, and then it should redirect me back here. Okay, so let's come in here, delete, and then it should redirect, right? So it does redirect after it's done. It just took a second. Deleting, redirect, maybe? Alright, it's not redirecting, so. If there's no link. Okay, so let's. Res. So let's go over here and delete something. We need to await this. Sync. All right. Delete it. Okay, so we are getting back something. Status 200. Okay, so we can just say if res.ok, then we're going to return a redirect, which is its own little response, which is why we don't have to like manually type out a response. 307, I don't know what that means. I forget what all the codes mean. Otherwise, we could just return something like this. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm almost done. I got about 10 minutes, maybe, if that. All right, so we got that working. Come over here, delete this link. It's gone. But now I can't map over anything. So that's probably something else to think about is over here on the index page is to check the data.length is greater than 0. Or that there is data at all. How about that? Because I guess that's what it's struggling with. Okay, there we go. So now I can add new stuff. Something, something, something. And sure, that's fine. Success, awesome. Probably also should come to my form. All right, add whatever this is. And just say that if we are good, if it's success, toast. Let's also take the form, which was called something. Add form, and we'll just reset it as well. Although I guess we could also redirect to that exact item. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 2 buttons instead of a flex container. Flex, gap 6. One is going to be add link, and one is going to be add and view or something like that. How about that? This ID will be like, I don't know, let's just do like a data view equals true or something. And then what we can do is check down here on the thing that was clicked on. So we could say if e.target, the thing that was clicked on, .dataset. So let's mark this as chill. I'll be with you in a second. All right. So if that dataset dot view, I think it was. So if it has that, then let's console log in here, like, hi, just to make sure this is working. So if I click over here, nothing. If I click over here, oh, well, nothing. Click over here. This isn't showing down here, so maybe let's come up top here. Let's grab the target, just to make sure. Okay. Checked false. Is it okay? The target itself, though, should be target. View, right? Let's see what happens if I do this. Undefined. Cool. Undefined. Awesome. I thought you could click on that and it would give you... You should be able to click on it and it should give you this, right? No? I don't know. Alright, let's not worry about it. Let's just possibly add something in here where we're like to do add and view as like an option. Okay, so let's come back up here. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. And pretend nothing ever happened. Okay, back over this way. Add all this stuff. Come over here. Okay, so now we can see these links and delete the link. It deletes it and it should redirect us. It still doesn't. Cool. So let's close this down inside here. ABI route, done. All right, let's figure out why this isn't redirecting us. Console logs it properly up here. See if it's doing anything inside here, because it's actually deleting it. Okay, so it is here, and then it's trying to return redirect and not doing anything. So let's figure out why this isn't working. Maybe this needs to be a full link to like astro.url.origin. And then we could just do like a 200. Valid redirect status. What is valid redirect status exactly? Let's do 307, since that's what they just did. Okay, cool. Maybe you have to have those. Okay, cool. Maybe it's this Astro origin. I had to provide the whole URL. I'm not actually sure. All right. Last thing to do is some kind of put request. So what I'm going to do, with the limited time we have, is grab this right here. Not sure what this thing is. Let's get rid of that. I don't really need this either. And we're going to come over here to the id.json, because we'll also have this as, yeah, let's do this. So let's paste this back in here. And what I want is here this to be like a put. Where I grab the param right here from params. Okay, let's see, links, and then we're gonna have a dynamic link just like we did up here. So I'm gonna grab this, fetch. And this will be a put. We're gonna update all the data. Can I just do that? Let's see what happens. Cool. So if I go to thing and hit edit, which since I already got the setup this way, let's just do that. Except what I want is the same thing as I have on the add page. Right, so again, I'm just gonna draw out this in here, even though normally you wouldn't do this. I have a component and stuff, but I'll refactor later. And let's just drop this all in here. The only difference is I want to make this go to just API, whatever the ID happens to be. So again, let's define vars. I'll pass down the ID, which would be the data something. Ooh, oh yeah, I don't have a param here. Fetch. So I don't need. What is all this doing? I gotta remind myself what this is. I thought I grabbed this from the ad page. Okay, so I don't need any of that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna come back over here. Let's come in here to this. We'll get rid of this. Paste all this in. Okay. We are gonna have an ID, and this will pass down to the vars here. So define vars, and you can pass front matter stuff down here. I guess I could have just done ID like that. Then you just can't use TypeScript here, which is fine, because I think that's the only thing I was even using. Okay, so now what I should be able to do is put this as a post, and this here should be ID that I've defined. Let's see what happens. I guess the thing is I do need to fetch this individual item. So I kind of do need all this other logic, I guess. So I'm sorry for deleting you earlier. Let's bring you back over here. Also pull this in, I guess, too. And then I need to go. But all right. Let's pull this in now. And what I want to do for each of these is set the value here to the data dot whatever the thing happens to be. So this would be data dot title, and same thing here. The value would be data dot description. Does not have a value on it? Default. Oh, you know what? It just has to be in here, right? Data dot description. Rating, same thing. Value here. Data dot rating, which happens to be nothing, and then checkbox or checked is going to be equal to the data dot is red. Okay, so then when I add this link, I'm going to say update link. That should work. I do a put request to this endpoint, which should hit over here, which should then hit this right here. What I want to do is come down this way. I'm going to do a put request to this endpoint with that ID, where I pass along the data. And what we're going to do is just say right here. I got to pull in this redirect. And in this case, what I want Astro.url.origin, and I'm going to do / link / whatever the ID happens to be. All right, hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I did it right. So let's come over here. We're going to update it. Form element object JSON.found. Bob. Maybe that was the problem. It just didn't like me. No. Okay. Back over to my edit page. Should get these values. That's true. Description, reading, error. All right, well, I gotta run, so I'm gonna call this good. The only thing we had left was just, I guess this would be a patch request anyhow, right? And then maybe this should be patch. And this could be patch. And what I could do is here. I'm not sure what to do there. So I got a little bit left worked. Really, the only thing left functionally is just to get it to where I can edit it, because all the rest is working. Go home, I can add new stuff. So there we go. Almost a full CRUD app. Just like I promised. Success. Okay, cool. So I got a couple things left to work on, but for an hour and a half or whatever with my brain clearly yet, not full capacity. That seems okay. So anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, comrade, welcome. Sorry, I'm just seeing your message, but hopefully that was enjoyable for you. And now you know what goes like behind a course. Like it's days like this where your head isn't working and you're like, how do I get this project up and running? And then I got to figure out how to break it out and describe it in a way that makes sense. So hopefully that was enjoyable for you. But thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy coding.